Good morning and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, where we take a look at headlines from our city, our state, and our country, Mexico, along with all kinds of information, tips, comments, suggestions, ideas that can help us connect with our city, Puerto Vallarta, our culture, and our surroundings as a community of English speaking locals. As always, it is a pleasure to find ways to create connections for you, and if this is your first time here, feel free to let us know by adding the word new in your comments. And if you have any important questions or something that you want to address during the broadcast, please add the letter Q at the beginning of your comment, and we'll be happy to address it as soon as possible. Today is Tuesday, April 27, and we are featuring a number of news items about vaccines, elevators at City Hall, the short highway from Guadalajara to Puerto Vallarta. I'm sure you remember that. Kamala Harris, and also a cabaret singer coming to Puerto Vallarta this coming month. Not to mention the fact that it is Tuesday, so we have a taco place to feature. So let's get started with our news. Well, as announced yesterday, the largest shipment of vaccines to date was received in our state, Jalisco, meaning, among other things, that the second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine for seniors is now available in the 8th sanitary region of the state, which includes the following municipalities surrounding Puerto Vallarta: Cabo Corrientes, Tomatlán, Talpa de Allende, San Sebastián del Oeste, and Mascota. It was back in mid-February that seniors in these municipalities received their first dose. At the time, over 1,000 Puerto Vallarta seniors actually traveled to El Tubito for their first dose, and now these seniors were expected to return for their second dose yesterday. This means that if the vaccines arrived on Sunday and vaccination took place yesterday during the day, without any type of advance warning, at this point it is unclear as to whether vaccines will continue to be available in said municipalities during the rest of the week. Needless to say, this means that if we are missing vaccines or if it's going to be our turn to get vaccines sometime in the near future, it is very, very important that we remain vigilant. We will update information as we receive it, of course, and we are mindful of the fact that the teachers, in Puerto Vallarta are scheduled to be vaccinated starting this week. And let's see, speaking about that, the state of Jalisco has announced its strategy to return to school in all state schools. According to this article that we are looking at, all schools will be open Monday through Friday, starting on May 17, to provide counseling and orientation to parents and tutors as to how to kickstart the process of sending their children to school again. This decision goes hand in hand with that of vaccinating Jalisco teachers starting on this Wednesday. That would be tomorrow, April 28th. Yes, tomorrow, April 28th through May 4th. More specifically, going back to this May 17 date, parents and tutors will be able to register their children for the upcoming school year, exchange homework assignments, inform parents of the academic progress of their children, and present them with new textbooks, uniforms, and so forth. More details, along with a location as to where local teachers will be able to receive their vaccines, will be available tomorrow, Wednesday, which is the day in which vaccination is scheduled to begin. Let us hope that the proper connections are made. That is, a connection between teachers and the vaccines. Now, it's been a while since we've seen any headlines regarding the construction of the new highway connecting Guadalajara and Puerto Vallarta. As you know, or maybe you don't, the project, promising a travel time of 3.5 hours or less, was initiated in 2011 during the presidency of Felipe Calderón, and it was scheduled to be completed 2 years later in 2014. Well, it is now 2021, and the stretch between Compostela and Las Varas in Nayarit is not only unfinished, but aerial photographs seem to show that the project is completely abandoned. According to this news item, the state of Nayarit's legislation approved a request to the Communications and Transportation Secretary asking for an update on the project, and there has been no response from the state secretary, nor from the Federal Communications and Transportation Secretary either. Nayarit legislation now fears that since a project of this magnitude is on hold and nobody is providing answers, there may be some sort of complicity between current and past governments, along with the companies in charge of these projects. Meanwhile, a project originally earmarked at 456 million pesos is now unfinished even after 864 million pesos, a little less than double, have been spent. Meanwhile, the stretch between Jala and Compostela is constantly being closed due to repairs and landslides. And now, with the rain season upon us, nobody seems to know when this project will actually be concluded, if at all. Let me see. Oh, this is important. United States Vice President Kamala Harris is scheduled to meet with Mexico President Andrés Manuel López Obrador on May 7th via video conference call to discuss immigration. While it is early to know exactly what else will be discussed during the meeting, an opinion editorial published by the Los Angeles Times caught my attention. It suggests that the discussion should be broader, quote, to cover the complex array of economic, environmental, security, energy, and rule of law issues that define the U.S.-Mexico dealings. While I don't completely agree or disagree with the article, it is a useful piece because it allows us to appreciate external perception of the relationship between our two countries. The article was written by Andres Martinez, who is a professor of practice at the Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University. And of course, I will leave the link to this article along with everything else that we feature in the show notes today. This article, of course, was written in English, so you may find it interesting. And now, let me share some good news. After many years, yesterday, work began at City Hall to build an elevator that will allow seniors and people with special needs to access second-floor offices. It's been years since this was proposed, so it is nice to see that it's finally happening. No further news was reported at this time, but the image in this article shows early stages of construction somewhere within the building's courtyard. Good news for people that cannot climb steps, or that people that are on a wheelchair, or women that are expecting a baby. Fortunately, finally, after so many years, they will be able to access the offices on the second floor. Now, let's take a quick look at the weather for this morning. Well, snarky weather tells us that the sound effect you hear when you install iOS 14.5 is the same noise Mark Zuckerberg's robot body makes when it simulates weeping. Now, you'd have to be a geek like myself to understand this statement, but it so happens, although it's not relevant to this broadcast, that Apple has just upgraded the operating system for its pads, its tablets, the iPad, and also for the iPhones, making it increasingly difficult for Facebook to track your searches, your activities, and to alter your privacy. Needless to say, the feud between Apple and Facebook continues to increase. Again, it's not our concern here at Coffee and Headlines, but that is what this particular remark is all about. Today, Tuesday, we can expect a partly cloudy day with a high temperature of 31, low temperature of 20. On Wednesday, that is tomorrow, we can expect a humid day throughout the day with a high temperature of 30 and a low temperature of 21. On Thursday, we can expect a humid day again with a high temperature of 30 and a low temperature of 19. And now let me move on with a couple of other headlines that I want to share with you, starting with these photographs. Yesterday, I showed you a few photos of the improvements being made along Calle Francia in Colonia Versalles. And as I was headed into town, I also saw that work along the Francisco Medina Asensio lateral, to provide for a new bicycle path is now continuing heading south. Presently, the lateral right across from Soriana is now being worked on along with the following block. I might also, let me show you the following block. I might also mention that even though I didn't take an actual photograph, the entire lot to the right of the Sheraton Hotel has now been leveled and is currently being worked on. That said, we have no idea as to whether this will be a new hotel, a shopping center, or a condo development, but I am sure that soon enough we will find out what that is all about. In the past few days, I received a message from a singer by the name of Kikee Adedeji, or Adedeji, I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, who will be performing in town this coming May for 3 weeks. Actually, he will be in town for 3 weeks and will be performing at Garbo in Emiliano Zapata on Tuesday, May 18 and Tuesday, May 25th. She asked for a shout out, and here it is. Since I'm not familiar with her as of yet, nor have I heard her sing beyond a couple of YouTube videos, I will leave you with her website so that you can get better acquainted with her. And I'll also share a link to one of her YouTube videos I watched where she sings a song by George Gershwin called How Long Has This Been Going On? All I can say is break a leg. I also wanted to get a little deeper into the Oscars. Again, I didn't watch them. I have not paid much attention to the details of the ceremony or the awards, but 3 more Mexicans are Oscar winners for Best Sound in a 2019 American film titled The Sound of Metal. It is about a metal drummer that loses his hearing. The film was nominated for 6 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, and won in the categories of Best Editing and Best Sound. And it was in this last category that Michel Coutolenc, Jaime Baxt, and Carlos Cortez took the award, winning over 4 other films: Greyhound, Mank, News of the World, and Soul. So again, we talked about the award winners on Sunday, and we see that Mexico seems to be excelling more on the technical categories and not so much on the performing ones, but a win is a win. And now, it is Tuesday, so we have to talk about a new taco place. And today I want to bring up this particular place, which we are familiar with, but we have to revisit it again. And that would be Mamá Caguama's Tacos and Beer. True to its name, this conveniently located eatery features a nice selection of national and artisan beers to complement beautifully prepared and presented tacos that include beef, pastor, shrimp, and fish, among others. We talked about these tacos back in January when I visited the shop for the first time, and I really, really enjoyed it. Needless to say, now that we're doing our map, we simply had to go back. It's nice to see that the venue has outdoor seating. It is located in a corner, so it has this side, and then it also has this other side outdoor seating. The inside, it's kind of small, but it's very cozy. It's very intimate. I love the decor. These vintage tiles seem to really create a festive atmosphere. And although I'm not showing it here, I was quite amused about the fact that they have board games that you can actually play while you are sitting there. And of course, true to their name, they have a large number of artisan beers that you can enjoy along with national beers. They have a great selection of tequilas and also mezcal. Now, in my past visit, I enjoyed, whoops, sorry about that. In my past visit, I enjoyed this, these really yummy al pastor tacos, and I remember talking about those at the time. But when I went this time, they had just started offering these Asian tacos, these Korean tacos, which were served on a flour tortilla, and they were actually quite delicious. And I strongly recommend you check them out. Although I must mention something peculiar, that I noticed, and this is a shout out to the owners if Sean is watching. When I looked at the Facebook page says that the venue is permanently closed, which of course is not the case. But then again, if as long as it says that it is permanently closed, one has to wonder how people are going to actually go and see it. But we were there, we enjoyed ourselves, and I now want to show you the short video that we are featuring on the map. And of course, if we come over here to take a look at our Taco Tuesday map, we can see that they are now prominently featured over there, along with their own video. So as you know, this map is available to all Coffee and Headline supporting members. If you are not a supporting member, it is not a large amount of money. You can either buy us an occasional coffee or buy us as many coffees as you want. You can become a monthly subscriber or an annual subscriber, but please be mindful of the fact that everything that we do in terms of researching and going out, etc., and preparing all these features for you is possible only thanks to you and your kind contributions. And that is what we have for today. As always, it is a pleasure to provide information so that you can better connect with our city, with my country, our country, Mexico. And as always, if you were enlightened, if you were amused, if you enjoyed today's broadcast, here is the link in which you can make a difference. Tomorrow is Wednesday, and of course, it's Walking Wednesday, so tomorrow we'll have a very special walk prepared for you. Between now and then, please stay kind, stay happy, stay connected, and have a lovely day.